Welcome to the teaching learning section of this channel. We have heard your voice and know many of you are doing virtual learning from home, and some may be back in school and need a little extra help. We're going to try to answer the call and help as much as we can with this section of our channel. So stay tuned. In this video, we're going to look at keywords, word problem clues. Addition clues. That's the first one we're going to take a look at, but I want you to also notice I'm referring to them as clues versus keywords, because to me, they're more clues than keywords. Because if you hang your hat on keywords, if you remember, I spoke about this previously in another video, that I don't want you guys to hang your hats on keywords, because you tend to think that if you see it, it's a definite thing. But sometimes they can lead you in a different way. It's not going to always be a definite. Okay? So instead, what I want you to do is to think of yourself as a detective, and the word problem is sort of like a crime scene, if you will. And your job is to solve the puzzle or the problem, which is the word problem. Okay? And the clues are going to lead you to the answer. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay? So the first one we're looking at is add. And if you notice, the name of this whole slide is addition clues, and the root word is add. So you know right away what that's telling you to do. Let's take a look at another one. All together. If you see all together in a word problem, you kind of know that all together should be telling you that you're going to be combining, putting something together, and that's adding. Let's take a look at the next one. We've got and you know if you add something, you're going to have this and that. So that's an adding of some sort, correct? The next one is both. That's another little clue to addition. Let's see what the next one is. Combine. That's another addition clue. And if you're combining something, you're what? You're putting them together, you're adding them. The next one, how many in all? Now, when I say how many in all, it can be that, it can be how many this or how many that, but a lot of times you'll see how many in all. And of course, that's like a total, like adding it all together. But sometimes you may just see how many something versus how many something else. So that's what I want you to see when you see that particular clue. Okay, as I said, here we go. How much? Now, how much, how many, kind of in the same boat, if you will. They're in the same boat with the same life jacket, if you will. Let's look at the next one. In all. Does that not tell you that's some type of addition? In all. That's putting it all together. If you ever see all means you're putting it all together. Okay, let's look at the next one. Increased by. Now you're looking at adding something. We don't know what, but we're adding something. Let's see what the next one is. Plus. Now that is an obvious clue. Okay, let's look at the next one. Sum. If you're not familiar with this term, sum is like saying total, but sum is basically like summary, summation, and that means an addition of all. Okay, it's like a total. And then we have together. Now remember, our second word on the first column was all together, and then you might just see together. Now together may refer to just a particular thing, or maybe a group of things, whereas all together it's going to say everything in that whole problem is being added together. So be careful, be aware, read the whole thing, do your due diligence, and be your detective and check it all out before you make a snap decision. Let's see what the next one is. And there you have it, total. That is what you're looking at. Total is adding everything together so that you know what the big solve. You can solve the whole thing with that total. So if you see total, you want to look back at your word problem and see everything that you need to put together. Okay? Now, let's take a look at a couple of word problems and show you kind of where these guys fit in, these clues. Let's see. The first one is Todd watches 2 videos back to back. The first video is 127 minutes long. The second video lasts 96 minutes. How long does he spend watching the videos? Now, we're not going to be solving this. This is not what this video is about. I just want you to see where you can find your clues. Now, towards you see what all you're having to do. You see where you have 127 minutes, 96 minutes, and towards the end here, my young detectives, you're being asked, how long does he spend watching the videos? So that's asking you to add. This is all samples of addition, okay? That's what you want to be aware of. How long does he spend watching the videos? And remember, you're a detective. You just read the first video was 127 minutes. The second video was 96 minutes. And if they're asking you how long does he spend watching the videos, all you're doing is adding 127 to 96. And that's how you solve this problem. Now your next one over here is Janet has $13 and Sue has $11. How much money do they have all together? Remember that word, all together. That is an addition clue. So that tells you, my young detective, that if you come up here and you add these two together, you would solve this problem. Okay? Let's see what else we have. We have subtraction clues. Now, these clues will tell you or lead you to a subtraction kind of a solving problem. So if we look at the first one, change, you can see that particular word change will, if you have something and you take something away from it, it changed. So that's a subtraction clue. Let's look at the next one. Decreased by. And you know, if you decrease something, you're going to take something from one level down to another level. And that probably means, and it does, decreasing, subtracting. That's what you want to make sure you are aware of, that you're subtracting when you see this word, decreased by. Difference. In fact, when you refer to a subtraction problem, they'll tell you this number minus this number will give you the difference. That's a subtraction clue. Remember that. Fewer. Fewer means less than, and of course that leads you down the subtraction path. Let's see what the next one is. How many are left? Now, we have how many, but what I really want you to really pay attention to is left, because you may see this, you know, coupled with something else. But the main thing is when you see what's left, it may say what's left. How many are left? But you see this, that means you had to subtract something to see what was left. Okay? Let's check out the next one. Less than. And I think I might have broached this subject a little bit when I explained a couple of these other ones, but less than, of course, you're going to be subtracting to get to a less than solution, okay? Let's see what the next one is. Lost. Now, if something is lost, you're going to take something away. So that's going to lead you down that subtraction path. So if you're looking at your word problem and you see the word lost, be sure to really look at that word problem and see what you're subtracting, because you're probably subtracting something. All right, let's see what the next one is. Minus. You cannot get any more definite than this. Minus is the same as saying subtract. So when you look at a subtraction problem, you will hear it being referred to as 8 minus 1 equals 7, or the difference is 7. So a lot of time what you need to remember is that when you are looking at any problem, it can also be done in English, and that's how you would see it, because you wouldn't see the minus sign. You'd see that it's written the whole word minus. So that's what you want to really pay attention to. Okay, the next one is reduce, and again, that's another clue for the subtraction, going down that path. Let's take a look at the next one. Remain. So if you subtract something from something else, what remains? So that's how this particular clue would be used in a word problem. So be aware of that. Let's see what the next one is. Takeaway. Again, pretty obvious, I think. If you're going to take something away, you're going to have to subtract. You're in the subtraction family. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of examples. There are 96 erasers in a box. Jack takes 31 erasers. How many are left? Did you see our clues? There is left. Now we also got how many, so that's just kind of letting you know that whatever you have left, that's going to be your solution. That's going to be how you solve this problem. So if you take a look at left, you know that you're in a subtraction path. You look over here, what it tells you, 96 erasers in a box. Jack takes 31, so what's left, then you're taking away 31 from 96, and your answer would be what's left. Okay? Let's take a look at the next one. Ben starts out with 78 apples. He gives 51 to Howard. How many apples does Ben end with? Now, I don't think I actually had that, but again, look at our clue here. End with. If that doesn't make you go, huh? I don't know what will. But if you read it as a detective, you have to read the whole thing. And if you know you have a starting number, 78 is your starting number. And then you find someone comes and somehow they're given a portion of it. And in this case, we're looking at 51 being given to Howard. Now I want to say, what are you left with? But they worded it differently. What do you end with? And I really think when you see stuff like this, they really want to test you and be sure you are understanding what you're looking at. So detectives, be sure you guys really pay attention to the word problems and what they're saying. Okay, let's see what we got next. Multiplication clues. Now, multiplication clues, guys, you're just going to have to know your multiplication facts. On this particular channel, we haven't gotten into our multiplications yet, but we will. Knowing multiplication facts are going to help you when you are having to delve into multiplication clues, because they can be confusing with addition clues, just so you know. So let's take a look at our clues. Our first one is by. And again, remember I told you that you can actually see when you deal with computations, you have to be able to sometimes put it in English form. And if you put it in English form, you'll see words like by to represent multiplication. something by this equal that. Okay, so let's check out the next one. Double. We're looking at double, so double to me says 2. Whatever is in that particular word problem, if it says double, looks like I'll be multiplying 2 times something. So that's what my detective brain is saying. Let's take a look at the next one. Each. Now, when you're looking at a word problem and you see the numbers, this is why I really want you to really investigate your word problems really carefully, because when you see the word each, it kind of changes the whole dynamic of the word problem, because sometimes people have gotten it confused and they will automatically go to addition and add up everything and not realizing that it's not a total, it's per something. Okay, and that's always multiplication, because those numbers can really kind of balloon per item. Let's see, what's our next one? Every. Says that you know they may give you a number, but that may not be a total number, and you have to, calculate individually of that number. So maybe you've given a number of 45. That's not the total number. Whatever you're having to do in the problem, you probably have to do it 45 times. So I want you guys to really pay attention. Factor of. That right there should tell you multiplication right off the bat. If you guys are familiar with your multiplication, or if you're there already, your multiplication facts. Increased by. It doesn't say just plain old increased, because if it was just plain old increased, that'd be addition. But they're saying increased by. So it's going to be increased by something. And like I said, that changes the whole dynamic of the word problem. Increased and increased by. Let's take a look at the next one. Of. Again, that is such a multiplication clue. It's almost like by. When you see by, of, your brain, your detective brain should already be thinking, okay, we've got some type of multiplication going on here. And just really delve deep into whatever word problem you're having to solve. Let's look at the next one. Product. Again, this is another typical keyword or clue of multiplication. Product. Times, and this is kind of obvious. A lot of times, no pun intended, you will see where it says 8 times 6 or 5 times 3. You know that's multiplications. So be aware of that, my detectives. We have triple. My detective brain, like double, is telling me it's going to be 3 times something. Double was telling me 2 times something. So that's the kind of things you really have to be careful of. Again, twice is the same as double. My brain is saying 2 times something. Now let's take a look at some examples. Each child has 4 tickets. If there are 6 children, how many tickets are there in total? Now remember, we've got each child has 4 tickets, and there are 6 children. So my detectives, they want to know how many tickets in total. And if you look at 4 and you look at the 6, some detectives kind of trying to get past it real quick will look at that and say, okay, 4 plus 6, okay, 10 tickets. That would be incorrect, because they say each child has 4 tickets, and you've got six children. So you're looking at 4 times 6. And if you know your multiplication facts, you would know that instead of 10 tickets, you're looking at 24 tickets. So again, Know your multiplication facts. Now, here's the second one. Each candy bar costs $2. How much does 5 candy bars cost? Now, if you look at that, again, you don't want to speed through it and see the numbers and go, okay, 5 plus 2, okay. And you sit up there and say, okay, $7. No, because each candy bar is $2. And here's the key word you're seeing here, each, each, each. How many candy bars we're looking at? 5. And each one cost $2. So you're looking at 5 times $2. And that's how you would get or solve your problem. So that's 2 examples of multiplication that you need to be able to solve for, okay? Now we're diving into division clues. Now again, you may or may not be into division, and that's fine. I would definitely suggest you go ahead and just take a look at it so that when you do get introduced to division, you would, be fairly aware. And at some point, I'm going to do division on video as well. So let's take a look at some of the clues. Okay, our first clue, let's take a look. As much. Okay, as much can be used to show something is as much as something else, and to find that out, you literally have to divide things up. So these are just the clues that we're looking at. Okay, our next one is cut up. Again, that implies division. We're cutting up something, we're separating something. So that's a division clue. Let's see the next one. Each group has. And again, one of the key things that we've talked about in the past in this video is each. So be aware of that. Okay, let's look at the next one. Equal. Now, equal, if you see equal, that should just light you up and put you on that path of division. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got half, which means we're gonna divide something in half. So it's gonna be, it should be a division clue, and it should lead you down that path. So let's take a look at what the next clue is. How many in each? Okay, we've seen how many, and how many can sometimes throw you off. So like I said, my detectives, really, really look at your problem, your word problem, because how many in each kind of changes the whole dynamic of the word problem itself. Because if you didn't have in each and you had just how many, this could easily be in the additions area. Okay, so let's see, what's our next one? Parts. Remember, cutting up, separating parts. That's a division clue, and it's going to lead you right down that path. Okay, per. Now, per, if you have something per this, so that's how you're going to divide this up. You have so many pizza slices and so many people, and you have to divide them up per person. That's kind of how that would be. So that should take you down the division, the path. Percent. Percent can kind of mess you up a little bit, my detectives, when you're on your path trying to figure out where you're going. Sometimes percent can lead you to multiplication, but sometimes it can also lead you to division. So I want you to really, really pay attention to whatever word problem you're in, and to see where percent's leading you down. What path is it leading you down? The multiplication path or the division path? But for this particular case, we're talking division clues. Okay. Okay, our next one. Remember, I kept saying separated. So any separated is a key word here. It is a clue. And separated goes along with parts, cut up. That's kind of what we're looking at. Anything of separation, That's usually a telltale sign of division. Okay, our next word is equal to. Remember, we already did equal. Now we've got equal to. Now, here's the thing with equal to. I'm thinking maybe I should not have included equal to, because equal, again, equal can, it can lead you down a couple of different paths. You just have to really be on whatever word problem you're looking at and going over to be sure of what they're asking you for, because equal could also be like a total. What does this equal up to? But if you got something that says equal to or something like that, it could change, again, the dynamic of the word problem. Let's see what we got. Well, we have some samples to see what the divisions would look like, the keywords in a division word problem. Here's the first one. Jenny is inviting 5 friends to a party. She has 40 cookies. How many cookies will each friend get? And again, we've got that keyword, each, or as I like to say, we have a clue. And each is our clue. Now, if you're looking at this, you see 5 friends, you see 5, you see 40. Sometimes my detectives, you guys want to go so fast to get through a particular problem. You'll see 5, you see 40, and you think, okay, 45. You just add them all up. That's not what they're asking you. They want to know how much each, look at that word, each friend gets. So you're going to have to divide 5 into 40 and see how these cookies get doled out. That's how you would solve this problem. Now, let's look at the second one here. Billy has 16 blocks. If he shares them among 2 friends, how many blocks does each friend get? Now, remember, this is an example of division. And if you see something like he's going to be sharing them among 2 friends, then what you're looking at again is you're having to divide 2 into 16. How many times will it go? And that will lead you to your answer. And that is what we're looking at in the division realm, okay, of word problems. Now, I hope this video has helped you understand some of the clues in word problems. And I'm going to have more videos coming out to try and help you guys on some other things. So be on the lookout for that. And I will see you guys next time. Bye for now. As a reminder, please help support this channel by subscribing and hitting that like button.